In the last 2 weeks, since we began the reading of the book of Genesis, Bereshit, in the first two Torah portions, we encountered the first 20 generations of humanity, from Adam and Eve until Noah, and last week from Noah until Abraham and Sarah, 20 generations. And now we meet Abraham and Sarah, the founders of our faith and our people, with God's call, Lekh L'kha me'artzecha, go forth from your land, umimolatetecha, from the place that you were born, from your birthplace, umiveit avicha, from the land or from the home of your father, your parental home, el haaretz asher areka, and go to the land that I will show you. Many interpretations are attached to this one verse because it is so consequential for our faith. It begins the journey, the spiritual, physical, intellectual journey of Abraham and Sarah and of our people. And so, just one interpretation on the words Asher Areka, that I will show you, to the land, go to the land that I will show you. And this interpretation says not to the land that I will show to you, but Asher Areka, to the land that I will show you. I will show what or who? You. This is the place where you're going to meet yourself in all your fullness. You're going to see yourself in a way you can't see yourself outside of this place. You're going to see yourself in all your depth and all your fullness. And so for 2,000 years of the Jewish dispersion, of our exile, Jews felt in the diaspora debased and deformed and humiliated and couldn't really see themselves in their fullness. And they aspired to come back to the land of Israel, to Eretz Israel, where they would see themselves as Jews and could express themselves, show themselves, and be themselves to themselves and for others, for the world to see Jews in their totality, in their fullness, in all their radiance and in all their depth. In the middle of the First World War, a Rav Kook, who had been in Israel already and left Israel during the days of the war, was stranded in Europe for a number of years. And this is what he writes. 30-something years before the creation of the state, what do I want? What do I long for? To shine the light of faith, of holiness in the land of Israel, the Hebrew land of Israel, the land of Israel that is steadily being redeemed, that land that is ridding itself of the dustiness of exile, degrading and depressing. We must redeem the Shekhinah, the presence of God that is within us from its exile. That is my goal. But oh, how heavy is this burden on my soul. How much salvation from on high do I need to lift and carry this? Ana Adonai Yoshiana, please God save us. Ana Adonai Yatzlichana, please God make us flourish. And 30-something years later, the state of Israel was founded. And Jews came there and revealed really the fullness and the magnificence of the Jewish spirit, its creativity, its spiritual depth. So many ways, in so many marvelous ways, we have seen the Jewish spirit flourish in the land of Israel. And Jews have seen themselves again. Asher Areka, that I will show you. We were shown ourselves without deformity, without humiliation, without debasement, without limitations, just in a magnificent way. But there is part of the Jewish spirit that has always been with us, a Jewish spirit that is darker, that is hateful, xenophobic, misogynistic, that hates the other, that is violent. It's always been part of the Jewish spirit, but it was sort of kept underneath. it had been sort of tamed for quite a while. And when it started surging, this ugly form of Jewish nationalism, at some point, the leaders of the state and its legislators decided this cannot live here. It cannot exist in the land of Israel, of the land of holiness. This expression of Jewishness, which is part of what it means to be Jewish. We all have it inside. We all have it inside. It's not just out there. We all have this inside. But the legislators and the leaders of the country said this cannot be accepted. It's not an acceptable form. The political expression of this spirit, this ugly spirit, cannot be tolerated, and this expression was proscribed. But it was allowed then to resurge. And we saw it this week in the Israeli election. This party, the religious Zionist party, which had been a respectable party, now taken over by the spirit of hatred, by the spirit of viciousness and violence and extremism, Otzma Yehudit, Jewish power, that really brings an ugly expression of Jewishness for all to see, in Israel and all around the world. It is shameful. It is sad. It is painful. It is complicated. And it's there for all to see. And this form has been tolerated. We've all participated in one way or another, and our leadership around the world and in the American Jewish community has also tolerated it. For many, many years, it has been allowed to fester and to fester and to grow. And it joins movements that are supremacist, like we have in our country and there are in other parts of the world, that are really this expression of hatred for the other. And I don't have a solution. I just point out that this is Asher Areka, that this is what we're seeing, that God is showing us, and we are showing ourselves, this part of ourselves, that so many of us don't like, so many in Israel also don't like. And I believe the only way to face this is to see it, to see it in ourselves, to see it in ourselves as Jews, to see it as part of our people, and to oppose it by dedicating ourselves even more to a Judaism that is open, that is tolerant, that is loving, that is embracing, that is inclusive, that is beautiful, that is magnificent. And that's what so many of us, that's the Judaism that so many of us love, but that we sometimes are not dedicated enough, are not invested enough. Let others donate, let others volunteer, let others participate. We'll sit on the margins, we'll participate from the margins. I think we all have to move in now and occupy this space of the Torah, of the love, of the light, of the Judaism that is, as I said, magnificent and beautiful. And that needs to be powerful again to conquer these forces of darkness that threaten the Jewish spirit now so much. We can't take Judaism and Torah and its beauty for granted. Let's rise and let's live this Judaism that we love with greater intensity and greater commitment.